I'm Ella.
And I'm Tyler.
And this is the Oracle Sportscast.
Saturday, we saw the Tennessee Tech Golden Eagles take on the number one team in the country, the Georgia Bulldogs. They lost 48-3, but despite this score, there were a lot of positives in that game.
Yeah, there were. I was excited to see that we did score against the number one team in the nation.
Yep.
I don't think many people were expecting to see that, and I'm so excited that we did see that.
And to touch on that field goal at the last second of the game, I was at the ball game, and there was 10 seconds left to go. The clock was running down, and I just assumed that the game was over.
Mm-hmm.
So I turn around, and I'm starting to pack everything up, and then I hear the ref blow the whistle, and then we took a timeout, and I was like, what are we doing? And then I see the field goal unit come on the field, and as we know, Hayden Olsen just kicks a chip shot for him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's nothing to him, and we get 3 points. So I was glad to see that. Coach Wilder, after the game, was asked about that field goal. He said he just wanted to get something positive out of the game, and I don't blame him.
Yeah, I liked that we saw that field goal at the end of the game because that showed that we didn't just give up and roll over, even though, we were playing the Georgia Bulldogs.
You have to understand the matchup that is. That's the best team in the country, without a doubt. I was glad to see them get those 3 points at the end of the ball game, just to have something to take back home after the trip. The first time we ever scored against the Georgia Bulldogs, we played them 3 times, and they shut us out twice. So I'm sure that had a little bit of something to do with that decision as well. So that was good to see. Another positive out of the game, we were able to get away with minimal injuries, which was huge.
Yeah, I feel like that's the thing that we were worried about that we talked about last week, that was something we wanted to watch out for, and hopefully that didn't happen to our team. So I was so glad to see that there wasn't any of our big-time players that got injured and ruined the rest of their season.
Exactly. I think Miles Parker did go down with an injury towards the middle of the game. Hopefully he's okay. Aaron Swafford, the guy we talked about a lot last week, he did not play. He did not dress out. Do you think that's probably more of a precautionary thing?
Oh, I definitely think it is. I think that saving him was probably the best decision because there is such a high chance of injury when you play a team like Georgia. And I'm glad that we did save him for the rest of the season when these games for our conference matter.
Exactly, yeah. You're going to need a guy like him on defense, a leader like that. You're going to need him in OVC play for sure.
Yeah.
Another thing that I really like to see, towards the end of the game, we got some young guys in there involved. That's huge. Guy who took every advantage of his opportunity, Aiden Littles, got in the game. He had 6 carries for 45 yards, which led the team. That was really good to see.
Yeah, that might not sound like a lot to some people, but when you're playing a team, a number one team in the nation, and you get that yardage as a player just being thrown onto the field at the last minute, that's crazy insane to see, and that shows that he's such a promising player.
And he's a freshman, too, so he's got a bright future ahead of him.
I know if I was a freshman getting on that field, I would not be able to do that.
Be
that's for
starstruck,
sure.
I know it.
Yes.
I was really proud of him to see that. A lot of other guys got playing time, but he was just one that really stood out and took every advantage of that opportunity. Offensively, the game plan was pretty conservative, which is understandable because of Georgia's just unbelievable talent on defense.
Yeah.
So that's understandable. You got to see some jet sweeps. There were some quick passes, tunnel screens. You got to see Jordan Yates get in at quarterback, just some different looks, but nothing too crazy for this game.
Yeah, I felt like this was a good game to practice these different strategies against what you would see as a more strong defense team. So I'm glad that we did see that with Georgia, even though that Georgia's defense is probably 100 times more than we'll see in any of our conference teams. So I'm excited that we've seen that we can handle that conservative offense and get yardage from that.
Right. Yeah. Like I said, a pretty conservative game plan going in, which is understandable. We threw those quick passes to try to get the ball out of Jordan Potts' hands to keep him healthy. Don't let Georgia's defensive pass rush just get all over him.
Yeah.
That seemed to work pretty good. The chunk yardage wasn't really there in the first half, but we were just trying to get the ball out of our hands, basically.
And speaking of Georgia's defense and Jordan Potts, I think our O-line did a great job at holding back their D-line because, once again, they're one of the best in the country, and
Absolutely.
You did not see Jordan Potts getting sacked every play.
No, he didn't get sacked much. I think I looked at the stats. It was 3 times in the game, which isn't
typical,
bad.
honestly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Georgia's going to get 3 sacks against anybody.
Yeah.
Clemson last week, they only scored 3 against Georgia also.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Take with that what you will.
Yeah.
But they were only able to do that. So, but yeah, we were trying to get the ball out of his hands. Like I said, you got to see Ethan Roberts getting in quarterback for one drive. That was nice to see. I don't think Potts was hurt. I think it was just kind of change things up. Yeah, exactly. Defensively, I felt like for for the most part, we held our own.
Yeah.
I mean, 48 points is a lot, but you are also playing one of the best quarterbacks in the country.
And even seeing the 48 points, I was honestly shocked to see that. And, I mean, you can see other games where they're getting to the 50s and the 60s, and here you have Tennessee Tech going to Georgia in the 40 range. Like, that's crazy to me.
That's what I was going to say. In week one, especially in college football, you saw teams like Tennessee and Auburn and Ole Miss putting 69 to 75 points on these little bitty teams, and you kind of thought, well, that might happen to Tech. Did not at all. 48, I'll take that, won't you?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And towards the end of the half, what stood out to me was defensively, we kept them to a field goal at the end of the half. Georgia was driving. I believe they got it inside the 10, so it was about first and goal, and we had a goal line stop, which I thought was that was cool to see, because anybody would have a tough time stopping them, especially on the goal line.
That shows the strength of our defense, honestly, because, I mean, you're against Georgia right now. They're on the 1st and 10 about to score, and we stopped them. Like, that's incredible to see, especially against a team like them, because their offense is so strong. Once again, one of the best in the nation. I mean, and that was just really cool to see that, and it's making me look forward to seeing our defense grow more during the season.
Absolutely. All in all, there were positives to the game. The goal was achieved. The goal was to go in, not get anybody hurt, and get out safely. I think they did that, and I hope the players had a good time. That's a unique opportunity getting to play.
That's
the number
an
one
awesome
team.
experience to say that. Yeah, I played against Georgia. Even just being able to say that I played against the number one team in the nation.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
A guy like Hayden Olsen gets to say, I kicked a field goal.
I scored against Georgia.
In Sanford Stadium.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So props to him for that.
Yes, definitely.
But yeah, we got a bye week next Saturday, which is going to be good to get everybody healthy, rested up. That'll be important. It's a little bit early for a bye week, but that's okay with me.
Yeah, I think it's a great time to have one after this Georgia game, because I honestly think they're going to have to completely switch gears playing in a team like Georgia and Tennessee State once again. Great team too, but they're not Georgia.
Right.
So you are going to have to change your game plan around for them. So.
And that is an interesting matchup. That's going to be the conference opener and the home opener for this season, September 21st. TSU, a team that is coached by Eddie George, which is an interesting headline.
Which is so cool that he's going to be on our field.
Yeah, that's
Heisman
insane.
winner, yeah.
Very excited for that game. We beat them 35-0 last year, but I don't think that's in the back of anybody's mind. I think this is a new season.
Yeah.
So
I definitely think it'll be a competitive game. I mean, they have some great players. We have some great players. I think it'll be a battle to the end for sure.
I do too. Yeah, I do. Anything in the OVC appears to be pretty wide open this year across the conference, which is fun to see.
Yeah.
I think Tennessee Tech could be right there in the middle of it.
I know preseason they were ranked 4 and Tech was ranked 7, so it's not like we're at the bottom, they're at the top. So I think this will be a really equal matchup.
That's perfect. That's motivation for us.
Yeah, get us up there.
Yeah, Nick Saban used to call it rat poison, so we can use that to our advantage. But yeah, like I said, we'll have a bye week this week, and then we'll head to. No, they'll come here. It's a home game. So TSU, that'll be an interesting matchup right there. But like we mentioned, 48-3 final score against Georgia. All in all, pretty overall positive outcome from the game. We're able to get guys. Didn't have many injuries except for Miles Parker, but other than that, got some young guys in the game. It was good to see that. Got that field goal at the end. So just positives overall.
I'm Ella.
And I'm Tyler.
And this has been the Oracle Sportscast.